So obviously we're back in Battle Operation 2. And I kind of wanted to. This is basically just a stream where I'm going through a bunch of shit that I learned, and I'm going to clip it up, and clippity be, shove it on YouTube for other newer players to find and hopefully help them out in the future. Um, and more or less, this is just mostly kind of coming from like a place of watching a bunch of people like flail-throughs play their games and like covering some information that they omit. Like well, we'll get into that here in a minute. Let me talk to this guy real quick. It's bugging me. Yeah. Okay. Um. So the first big thing, uh, you may know if you're familiar with this game at all, you know that the connections aren't the best. Um, so if you ever wanted to just like play the fucking game, or like monkey around, you got a free practice for like right here. You just do this shit. And you don't have to like it'll drop other NPC bots in with you, and you can just if you just want to go and shoot some damn robots, you can go shoot some damn robots, something like that. Um, so let's go in here and so we have lots and 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 lots of robots. And you may be thinking here this is mostly like 9/10 of this is just ego stroking, You get in your super fancy pantsy antsy fucking I don't even know if I have one. The fucking top roll, whatever it's called, like EXS Gundam, right? Or Full Armor Hayashiki or G3 Gundam, like you get in your fancy ass shit and you fly around, you murder people, and that's like you do that and you don't really think much about it. This guy, right? This guy's fucking huge. Look at him. That's a big boy. Obviously, you have some ideas there. But believe it or not, there's actually a lot more going on under the hood here that I had previously not been aware of. So we're going to go down to our most basic ass Zaku 2, right? This little starter guy that you get. Everyone gets this one. Here he is. Level 1 Zaku 2, right? And you've got your bazookas and your machine guns, and you can put some stuff on them. And you've got a whole bunch of numbers on the side here. You're not really sure what any of this does yet. And if you're like me, for 80% of the time I've played this game, this is kind of where you leave. Like, this is where you stop looking. But there's a lot more to it. These are skills. I completely forgot this menu existed, and when I started going through it, it's actually really interesting. So every mobile suit's got a whole list of skills. Some of these are generic. The raids and the supports have a lot of generic skills, while the generals tend to borrow from both. And these kind of impact how you play. And if you don't go in and read these and you just kind of run into, like you do exactly what I've been doing, and you just run into battle and you kind of ignore them, you're not really going to see a lot of results. Like, one thing's going to play pretty close to the other because you're running in and getting shot and dying, the same as every other mobile suit. But these guys actually have some pretty interesting ideas going on here. So let's I want to go through some of these and kind of talk about how you can use them. Okay. So this one, first one, and I think I've looked at the Zaku 1, the Zaku 2, and the Goof, and they all seem to kind of do this one thing particular. I'm kind of calling it the Zaku Charge. Now, I don't know if the GMs do this. I haven't looked at the GMs, I haven't looked at the Gundams yet. We can do that tonight to see if they do something similar to that. Um, or this is just a Zaku thing. I'm calling it a Zaku thing right now, though. So you've got leg shock absorbers, so it reduces um, your load on legs when landing. I'm not actually sure what that exactly means. I'm pretty sure it just means you shortens up the landing animation, right? Quick boost. Your charge time is reduced when jumping. I'm assuming that means that also, like, not when you're charging, like when you hit triangle, but when you're charging up your booster. Personal radar, that's more of a support thing. High performance balancer, this is actually the one I really like. Landing after jumps and evasive maneuvers can be cancelled with a melee attack or tackle. So basically that means that you can jump, land, charge, and not have to go through the landing animation. So that saves you a lot of time. And also, it does some interesting shit. So we're going to go through that here in a second. So we're going to take out our Zaku 2. And we're going to go do a free practice real quick. And again, if you're having network problems, this is a good way to avoid those, because you're basically playing the game single player. You know, you have to question why exactly you would do that. But it's you know, practice. This is a game where practice makes perfect. And you can turn the AI on these guys. Okay, so basically, if you've never done the free training mode, you get access to all the maps, and it'll just drop in these kind of generic suits for you to shoot at. I don't know why she's talking to me, but she's right. And it just gives you an opportunity to kind of try some of this fancy crap, without being like blasted from 50 yards away, like 100 yards away by lasers. You know all that kind of shit. Okay, so we've got our Zaku, and I wanted to highlight. How do I turn her ass off? I gotta turn her ass off. Hold on. I don't know why she's fucking talking. Okay, back to where we were. I wanted to talk about this machine gun real quick here, because you kind of like, you look at it immediately and you just like, you think this thing is worth it, especially if you've ever watched any of the TV shows. You think this thing is complete dog shit. It's actually got two interesting little functions here. So first off is the automatic targeter. Circle just showed up, right? That means now, even though we're not really aiming directly at him, we can still hit him. So this is good for, you know, stuff on the run. Things like that, you know? You can kind of strafe around. And obviously he's going to be moving around too and doing all sorts of monkey stuff. It makes it a little bit easier. And there are some mods out there, like if you got the level 5 Zaku, you can put on the ASL, which I think makes the circle bigger. It might even make it bigger, or it might make it easier to lock on. I don't know. But anyway, that's one thing that's really nice about this. And I think it might just be this one. I'm not too sure. I know a couple other machine guns have a similar function. Okay. And so you can tell we've not really done a lot of damage, right? Like, yeah, that starts adding up after a while. But that's far more interesting. That's the stagger. So we can see that little yellow bar. It fills up as we use our machine gun. And now we would have an opportunity to go in for a kill without the problem of a counter, right? Let's go ahead and finish this off, and then we'll get a fresh one. Kind of show off the ASL again. I think that's it. I like that. I like the ASL a lot. So we're going to move back over here real quick. Wait for our dude to show up. This particular map is really nice for range guessing. And if you know the ranges on your weapons, you can kind of do some spitballing. So you'll notice that when our crosshair is not on the target, we can put it up in the sky, you know, it's gray. When we put it on the target and we're within range to hit him, it's blue. If we're within range but he's invulnerable, it turns red. That means don't shoot, right? Now, the cool thing is we can actually back up out of range and it turns gray again. Now, this doesn't mean that you're necessarily not going to hit him, because believe it or not, you can still get him from way out here. But it seems like there's a certain point at which it does eventually disappear. And I believe the range for this thing is 200 meters, right? So we can kind of ballpark to right about here, right about at this edge of this lip of the crater here is about 200 meters, right? Something like that. So let's go back to all those jumping things that we can do with this Zaku, right? And if you don't know what jumping is, so you've got these little evasive things, right? You've got those, and those are jumping. So you get a little bit quicker jump time and you recover a little bit faster. Then you've got your thruster back here. And this is your big jump, right? That's the one you charge up and you have a nice big long jump time. Now what you can do, if you hold down forward while you're charging up, you get a nice big boost. Just like that. Now that's kind of nice for getting close to the enemy without having to walk up to them and getting shot the whole time, you know, especially if you're doing that from, say, around your base, which I think we can clear the base. Let's actually try that. It's a bit tricky since I'm against the invisible wall here in the corner, but we'll try it. Clipped it, but yeah, we did it. So, if you're behind cover, you can safely jump in, get a little bit closer to your enemies. But here's where the fun thing is. Actually, you know what? We'll just do a little bunny hop and I'll show it off. So there's that one skill we had that said that it can cancel out that recovery animation with a melee or a tackle. Whoops, and I fucking hit the wrong buttons again. Let me do that one time. Like that. And it's quickest, honestly, if you're going to be using your melee weapon for that, to do a sight one, you know? Let me go ahead and go through those really quick because it's easy to forget that you can do things like that. So you've got three. Yeah, you've got three. It's going to try and convince you have five. You have actually got three options for a melee hit. You've got your normal, so that's where we're not hitting anything on the left stick. That's our normal right there for the Heat Hawk. And I believe it's also the same for forward. Yeah, so if you're moving forward or if you're not hitting the movement stick at all, you've got your regular Heat Hawk attack. If you hit either right or left, you do a side, which I think that was a side. Yeah, that's a side. It's supposed to be quicker, but you're hitting with 80% power of your normal hit. And then finally, you've got your back, so you you flick, because if you hold back, you're just going to start walking backwards out of range. So you flick your back. Nope, that's the wrong one. You flick back, and you do that. That's your strong melee. So as you can see, it does a ton more damage and knocks them over, but it also puts you into a recovery animation. And I will say concerning that knockdown is really not for you. That's for everyone around you, right? So if we knock him down again, I'm going to try and get to my cracker and throw a cracker at him, right? Knockdown, got the cracker. Wait for the crack to get up, and by the time I've got it out, he's already up again, right? So that's just not... That's more or less for your allies to get a good extra hit in. I do have to say there's an input thing. So, and you saw me mess one of those up. So you have to... If you do it wrong... So holding down seems to be the safest option, but if you're trying to flick your stick, you may accidentally get the timing wrong. Yeah, so if you give it like a second or even a half second, that input will disappear and you'll end up doing a normal hit. So just be prepared for that. Normal hit's not the worst thing in the world. Honestly, that back hit is the most appetizing, but this is a very long time to not be invulnerable. Because you're not. You can get all kinds of fucked up with that. So, let's kind of talk about putting all what we've seen so far together. Right? So we're jumping in, then we charge. We got him, and we can do a melee hit. So that essentially just extends the range of your melee hit from being point blank to 200-ish, maybe 250 meters away. And you can check that if you have your gun. Now I will say that the bazooka has a longer range than the gun, and that may throw you off just a smidge. So, just be aware of that. Alright, let's talk about the cracker real fast. So, it's a weird weapon. It's useful, though. I really enjoy it. So, first thing you can do that's kind of fun, you can toss it over buildings. See if I get this right. Just a little bit off. So you can treat it like an indirect weapon. God damn it. You can see it builds up just a bit of stagger, and I think it's actually easier on the... Wait, does the goof even get a crack? I don't remember. I have to go check. Yeah, you can build off that pretty easy. So it took about 13 rounds for the Zaku's machine gun. But using a cracker gives us just a little bit of a boost. So throw it, tap. So we saved a couple rounds. So there's that. I think a more useful thing for the cracker, though, besides being able to be thrown over and around things, the damage isn't substantial. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not really anything you're going to actually, like, win with. I like it more because it kind of gives you a little bit of a smoke screen. Like that, right? Hard to see, hard to tell what you're doing. Hard to predict what you're doing and counter it, you know. So we can do something like this. Let's go back to our setup over here. So about like that. We're going to throw a cracker. We're in the air before they can do anything. We land, charge, and then get that backswing in. We didn't do anything because we kept hitting the fucking shield, but you know what I mean. And that's kind of the whole thing. And then while they're getting up, you can fucking hit the wrong buttons again. Throw another one. Back up. And do that. And I'll kind of repeat that little thing we just did there. So it's not just going forward. That charge is super useful for getting in and hitting someone when you want to. But it's probably more useful to get the hell out when you want to get out. So we also need to talk about, so watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to try and throw a cracker, and I'm going to fuck it up by boosting too early. Ready? So you have to realize that the cracker has a fixed animation time. I believe it's like a second to throw the whole thing. And if you interrupt that with your boost, you cancel the whole thing out. So we have to give it enough time to throw. Then we can jump back. We get our heat hawk out, we spin it around, and then we charge that way. And voila. So to show it again, we're going to boost to get away, holding back. We're going to turn the camera, we're going to have our heat hawk out. We're going to let that, and then charge. So as soon as we land, we take a side swing. And by that point, our camera has gone from pointing here to pointing there, which will allow our mobile suit to basically seamlessly turn by doing the side swing, and then we can charge away and be hopefully safely out of the fight. So it's not just good for entering a fight, it's good for getting out of one too. And one thing I need to point out, let's turn on the AI for this. So let's give Buddy a chance to start shooting at us. As you can see, you can get shot out of the sky pretty easy. See if we can bait him into shooting some more. Yeah, see. So you're not safe in the air by any definition, but you're definitely not taking as many hits as if you're on the ground, which is what the cracker is so useful for. Something like that. So it's not a perfect escape plan, but it's a lot better than trying to run away, you know. And that's generally the gist of the Zaku 2's setup. So we're going to get out. Now I want to say this is the most basic Zaku. This is the 100 cost Zaku, the level 1. And I don't think I've ever actually seen a level 100 fight. Alright, so you're probably going to be closer to, let's see what Quick Match has. There's a 350. Rated has a 350, a 450, a 500. So that's more generally where the average is at. So you're probably going to be looking at Zaku, probably level 5, I believe. This guy, yeah, more of this guy. And honestly, he's kind of on the low side as it is. Now they're pretty much the same. This is kind of where your goodies come in, your custom parts. And I really like these things here. The forced cooling system, And you can kind of see down in that little bottom right box, it's telling you what's going on. So reduces recovery time from thrusters by 20% and reduces thruster recovery speed by 12%. So in addition to those, you've also got these guys here, the cooling systems, which is these actually boost thrusters in exchange for the overheats. Personally, I kind of like, so they're a bit of like these guys tacked on. I like the forced better because it just gives you a bigger bonus for overheat and reducing recovery speed. So let's take this guy out here, and you can kind of see how much faster these things will fly around. Now everything's the same, the abilities are the same. All that we've done is changed up our recovery speed, our recovery times. So we're about set up in the exact same spot. We're going to get our Heat Hawk out. We do our charge, we do our backswing, and look how much faster things are going. We can already skirt away and get to safety. That's what a good model do for you. In fact, we're going to try an entry and exit. We'll throw in the cracker too, just for good measure. So, toss our cracker. Get our Heat Hawk out while we're in the air. Charge. Do our tackle. Do the backswing. Turn the camera. Side swing and tackle. You can see how much easier that is with the force cooling system. So I kind of favor that on my modding a little bit more than extra health or damage or whatever. We can kind of talk more about the custom parts here in a minute, but I also want to talk about the Zaku 2, or Zaku 1.